when I tell y'all I've been holding in this story time for the past 7 months, just waiting to tell y'all. Now that everything is settled and done, I'm willing to share this information. But here we go. 7 months ago is April of 2021. Now, I have an 11-year-old, my only child. So during the school year, they were in school 1 week, homeschool the next week, or virtual the next week. So this particular week that he is in school, mind you, they've been having connectivity issues, all this stuff. It's just been a troublesome year, but this is the first year that they have gone, virtual. Things happen. It's COVID. So anyways, I get a phone call from the school telling me that I need to get to the school to come there to deal with some issues with my child. So they told me that he is not in danger, but he is in major trouble. I pull up to the school. There are 4 police officers, the district attorney's office, the superintendent, the principal, 3 IT technicians. At first, I'm thinking maybe he took the pow-pow to school, like maybe he got into my safe, like maybe he knows the code and I don't know that he knows the code. But obviously that is not the issue here. So I get in there. He's sitting in the hallway in tears. I said, I don't know what you've done, but what did you do? So he would not tell me. He was shaking, very visibly upset. So they told me to sit down. They said, Miss, blah, 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 please have a seat. It is a very serious matter. I said, what possibly could my 11-year-old child who is in 5th grade done that has warranted all of this police activity? He has been controlling the internet at the school for the past 3 months. So he was shutting it off, turning it back on when he wanted to. It was to the point where these kids had off school. Their teachers could not email each other. They could not instant message each other. These kids were off school like every other week. And he would come to me and be like, Mom, the internet's messed up. Nobody can do anything, so they let us out early today. And I'm like, wow, they still haven't figured this out yet? Of course they haven't figured it out because it was him. They called in the National Guard to figure it out, and they could not figure it out. So then they had to go through every single computer at the school. Once they narrowed it down to one school, they went through every single computer as these children were at recess and at lunch until they figured out it was him. My child's a criminal. He's a criminal. They wanted to pass federal charges on him. Do you understand I had to hire a federal attorney for my 11-year-old? What have I given birth to? Rain Man? If you want him, come get him. I'm giving him away.
We already know the story would have been way different if it were a white kid that did this. If it were a white kid that hacked the school internet, the story would have been way different. He's going to be paraded all over the news, positively paraded all over the news. He's going to be called intelligent, a genius, too smart for his age, smarter than his peers. He's going to be a prodigy. He's going to be, reached out by all those Ivy Leagues who want to have their hands on him. His future is going to be so panned out because he did this thing. Because why? He's a genius because he's white. But then when it's a black kid that did it, he's a criminal. When I saw this, I could not help but remember the Kaya Rose situation. Kaya was a 6-year-old who was handcuffed by the police because she threw a tantrum and kicked a staff member. She threw a tantrum and kicked a staff member, an adult, right? So the police was called. He handcuffed her, put her in the back of his vehicle and drove her off to juvenile detention facility where they took fingerprints and a mug shot of a 6-year-old. Put melanin on anybody, immediately they won't see you as a person. Put melanin on a child, and now they see that child as an adult that they don't see as a person. Insidious, really. Like they stood in direct opposition of his talent because he was black. This just shows how they've trampled on black talents and the amount of light they've dimmed. Imagine how sick in the head these people would have to be for them to look at this young man and they don't see a child. Like, I am presently struggling to wrap my brain around the fact that the police was called on an 11-year-old. I can't make sense of this. I just can't. That adults did this, calling 4 police officers for an 11-year-old. And, the National Guard even has to get involved. They involved the National Guard for an 11-year-old because he was black. Because he was black and he did this, he's not intelligent. Because he was black and he did this, he's not a genius. He's a criminal. This is insane. They come out shirt for an 11-year-old. They took their shirt off to show their muscles for an 11-year-old. So much smoke they created for an 11-year-old, a child. They called the police on a child. They should be embarrassed. Like, wow. For an 11-year-old that most likely didn't know what he was doing. I know about the school to prison pipeline. I've read about it. I've heard about it. But to actually see it almost play out for this beautiful young man like this, it hits different. I mean, I know, of course, an 11-year-old can't go to prison, but to think that they would want to ruin an 11-year-old's future by giving him such a bad record for his talent, it's insane. If you ask me what being evil, what being wicked is, witchcraft and wizardry, this is it. Pure wickedness. Who would want to do that to an 11-year-old if you are not a demon? It's devilish. This is dark. It's how these people are not embarrassed for me. They even wanted to file a lawsuit. You should be embarrassed. The people who wanted to file the lawsuit should be embarrassed. The principal, everybody should be embarrassed and probably fired. And the firing should even start from whoever was in charge of the internet security at the school. Who had that job? You were breached by an 11-year-old. Could not even figure out where the problem was coming from or who was doing it for days.
Hey everybody, we didn't know that this TikTok was gonna blow up, but this is the baby genius, as y'all like to call him. Hello. My pride and joy. His name is Elijah, and he is a Capricorn. For everybody asking what his sign is, his mother's an Aries, his father is a Scorpio. But anyway, on another note, the outcome of that was that the district attorney's office actually decided to not press charges against him because he's 11 and they did not want to ruin his record. The school was not very happy about that, but it wasn't really in their hands. So next thing that happened was he got recommended to a first-time juvenile offenders program. So like a computer class. Yeah, so basically they gave him 5 tasks that he had to complete in order for his record to be wiped clean so that it did not go to court. So he had to build a soccer stadium in Minecraft because he is a captain of his soccer team. He averages 3 goals a game. So that is a thing. So he is in that, sports and things. So then he also had to write an apology letter to me, which it was very well written. I appreciate that. Right. Then he had to do 10 hours of community service. So he cleaned the church with my mom for 10 hours during the summer and did some community events at our local community park. So then, what else did you have to do? And then after that, we found out we had to do something else. Oh, so he had to do like a contrast between what would he have done versus what shouldn't he have done and what the outcome of that would have been. So he had to write like a small term paper. Also, they asked him to build his own video game so he could kind of learn the analytics of how that works. And it took him 2 hours to build a basketball game. So he is a little bit of a prodigy. I knew he was smart. I've always said that he's smart. Does he make the best choices all the time? No. But we are working on that, and he is a very good child. Overall, he's a good boy. But I do not tell him every day that he's a criminal. I just said it for the video. I promise you she doesn't. Because it was a crime. Y'all are bugging. And for everybody saying that my makeup makes me look old, I'm 31, but okay. I don't feel like I look old. A little shade. I'll be thinking I'll be doing okay. But yeah, other than that, he's a good boy. He likes sports, games. He likes video games. That's his thing. Minecraft. Rocket League. Those are his things. He used to play Fortnite a lot, but kind of pulled back on that. But yeah, if you guys want to know anything else, just hit us up. We're working on trying to get him into some better schools. It's just the area we live in. It's not educationally wise is not necessarily the best. So we're working on it.
I hope he stays on the right path. Good thing his record is not going to be tainted by this unfortunate situation. I hope everything works out for him positively. He's going to use his talent, to better his life, his mother's life, his family and friend, and the society at large, all that good stuff. So cheers to his very beautiful and bright future. They tried, but the devil would always be a liar. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Do let me know down below in the comment section what your thoughts are. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.